traumatic energy that our world is holding on to, and it will be near the time of the autumn equinox, and stepping into our divine lover energy, which is going to be a really, really powerful experience. And so anyway, she contacted me and said, man, I've just been in this hellacious period of challenges and frustration. And she said, I was just like in this breaking point, and I stopped and I pulled out your book and I read it. And she says, I looked at the codes of what was happening that day, and she says, I was able to release everything. She said, I just wanted to give up until I looked at the codes. And then, she looked at them and she said, I realized none of this had anything to do with me. None of this was my stuff. And it was simply some influences that were happening. So definitely, Suzi, it is that aspect of forewarned is forearmed. And it's such a powerful piece with this book. And over again, people will tell me experiences like that where they come through and said, man, I couldn't figure it out. My frustration was building. And, or they'll be in the study group and I'll ask a simple question like, okay, so, have you asked this person this? Have you asked them that? Have you touched in about that? And they said, no. And then they'd go back. Well, they had kind of momentarily gotten up in that reaction. And then they went back and they softened, and they were able to step back into that space of compassion and go, yeah, you know what? That person didn't even know. They didn't know how this process worked or this thing worked. And here I was getting upset with them, and I shouldn't have been. So that knowledge and that base is incredible. And I think so many people around the world are living in stresses. You look at people, and I can say myself included. I mean, I went through a period of pumpkin seeds to live on for a week. I've been there where I've been in minus 30, minus 40 degree temps living out of a vehicle because I couldn't afford a place to live along the way. I every day am grateful for what I have in this moment because of those experiences I've already been through, but because I now have the insight of the codes to keep me out of those situations. I find over and over and over again that it's making these huge transformations, but people all around the world are working 2 and 3 jobs, and they're caring for people, and they're having to attend to relatives that are having issues, and we're seeing people that are very young that are passing away unexpected and suddenly. Matter of fact, the state I live in, the whole code energy here is about transformation, unexpected death, unexpected circumstances coming up. But my energy flows very well here. So it's a very favorable energy when my codes interact with it. So I think these are the different pieces, is that we all have challenges to face in life, and the codes help us step back and stand in that space of compassion. It helps us to not hold on and linger these angry emotions and to be trapped into those spaces. It allows us to release that and step back into our natural loving self. So it's truly a powerful piece to work with. And every year this book will be put out with a new edition for that upcoming year.
Brilliant. Well, I can't believe the show has just flown in. I'll see if we can take a caller or two as time's just flown in. Do we have area code 551?
Hello.
Hi, hon. How can we help you today?
Hi. Just wanted to pretty much, if possible, get a general read.
Yeah, that's okay. Sorry, Jessie, did you want to say something?
No, that's okay. So you're just looking for any kind of insight?
I get a more career relationship geared, if possible.
Career relationship, okay. And what's your first name, if you don't mind?
It is Tasha.
Tasha, Tasha?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Tasha, one of the first things that I see right off with you is that you have an amazing power to get along with just about everybody. It doesn't mean that you necessarily like everybody, but you're a person that a lot of people tend to come to, and they'll tell things to you that they will not tell to anybody else. You have a real gift for moving product, and so anything that has to do with sales or things like that you can be good at. There's always some mixed aspects when we look at that from a spiritual aspect, supporting all of that heavy money energy. But you do have that ability if you do any kind of sales, like product sales or retail sales.
Everybody always told me that. Yeah, I never did it, actually. Everybody always tells me that, but I never gave it a try.
Well, and the key is you can always balance it a little bit, like, retail for a health food store versus, retail for a chemical company. But you also have a lot of wisdom energy. Matter of fact, things have to show potential for you before you step into them in the outer world. And I'm only looking at one small piece of your codes, not your whole code. I'm talking about in relation to the outer world. Observation is your greatest tool. If you stand back and you just observe, and I think oftentimes you kind of really like that, you'll get any answer that you want because you're able to see it. And people, again, people who are totally opposing each other will come to you. So you're oftentimes that center point that everybody will share information with. You have a lot of wisdom energy, so you could probably also do well in some sort of a teaching capacity with people. I also see, though, for you in the outer world, you tend to go along and you have all this, you get this really huge victory up front. It feels like a great success when you start something. You're learning, you're growing with it, and then you really learn how to bring it into your own self, and then it just seems like something will come along and crash you in some way, for lack of better terminology. It's like the proverbial hail that comes in and just pounds in on your storm. But that can also be a very renewing aspect. So I think in a lot of ways, too, you also would have an option of going into things like counseling fields, psychotherapy, things where you're able to implement wisdom. You're in psychotherapy now? Okay. So you're in a good field for yourself in there. There's no doubt about that. And you're really particularly good at dealing with people with trauma.
Yes. Yes,
trauma is actually probably one of your key areas.
I was thinking about going full-time in it.
You would probably do really good because your energy naturally flows to that, and you're able to share the insights and the wisdom with people to help them in that transformational process. And from a spiritual perspective, it would be a stronger, more positive field for you to be in than something in the retail industry.
Okay. Is it possible to ask one specific question?
Sure.
I had a dream about friends and
90 seconds.
I just want to know, is there anyone possibly around me that I speak to and trust that may not be a friend around me?
You said the dream involved a snake?
Yeah, in my office, and I'm not sure if it's. I think I narrowed it down to 3 people, but I
Gosh, I can't believe that.
Really
60 seconds.
I can't believe, guys, that's practically the end of the show. Good grief. Jessie, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything you'd like to say before we go, darling?
Well, I just want to remind everybody, if you want to jump in, you can go onto my webpage, compassioncodes.com. Again, the book name is called The Code Journey. And on the website, you can both find where to get the book as well as to join into the study session or get a personal report done. So thank you for having
joining
me here,
us.
Suzi.
Thank you, darling. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Bye.